The truth must always be told. What truth? Well, modern society anywhere on planet Earth these days is a melting pot of all cultures. In any given place and setting, we are people from a diversity of origins, a diversity of cultures, both gender, young and old, from all social backgrounds, with all sorts of religious and other beliefs, people who hold a diversity of opinions and who affiliate themselves with all sorts of political and other opinions and persuasions. Well then, that's always need, as you guess, for tolerance. So you don't have to understand everybody to coexist with them. That's why tolerance comes in both as a necessity and by default. Why is that necessary? Well, we all have a right to coexist anywhere. Well then, we must learn to coexist in harmony and peace. At home, we must always coexist in harmony and peace. At work, wherever that be, whether it is in a traditional office or a group of people working together in a public place in the field or elsewhere, there's always need for tolerance. In school, in the traditional classroom, or in the whole school, there's always need for tolerance. People always gather together by default. People seek one another by default. In other words, as humans, we seek or we are attracted into seeking other humans. That's natural. So where there's one person, well, such a person will tend to look for other people around him or her. We are together not as mountains or islands, but as groups, as a collection of individuals, as teams, as families, as people working together, as people living together, as people who are married like couples, as children of one family, as children in a neighborhood, as people in a neighborhood, as people traveling together in a matatu, bus, or taxi, or van, as people doing research together, as people studying together, dealing with one project, or as people who are co-managers who meet to discuss projects or issues affecting their organizations. We also have people in the boardrooms, people who run companies. We have also politicians addressing political rallies, people gathered as crowds to listen to their leaders. We also have, at a national level, we have people who run the country, meeting as a cabinet, or even senior executives or technocrats meeting to lay policies and the guidelines for others, or even workers meeting to discuss what affects them, or meeting informally when they are taking tea or during their break time. So, as people, we always look for our own. So, there's always need for tolerance. You don't have to like everybody to exist with them in harmony and peace. You don't have to change anybody if they don't want to live with them in harmony and peace. People have got a right to their beliefs and to some extent to the way they behave. Well, if they behave in a certain way and you don't like it, well, you have no way you can change it. They can only change it if they decide to, but you can change your behavior. How? You can practice tolerance. You can always extend a hand of peace and friendship. You don't have to make people behave the way you want in order for you to like them. But then, you can decide to like everybody. In other words, we don't have the power and the control over what other people do, or what they stand for, or their behavior and beliefs, or what decisions they make, the way they communicate, the way they talk, or whether they gossip or not. That's their own business. But we have power and control over what we as individuals decide to do. We can decide to be amiable, friendly, and good to everybody. And that's what we should do. Being good is not just a word. It means training ourselves to actually being good to everybody in both word and deed. In other words, we can train ourselves to practice tolerance, and then we practice that every day. So we learn what tolerance is, we train ourselves to be tolerant, and then we practice it. Practice makes perfect. So at home, practice tolerance. At home, practice being a friend to your partner and to your children. If you are a child, practice tolerance. If you are a child, practice being friendly and amiable to all the family members. If you are a husband, practice being friendly to your wife and to your children, even when you don't like what they say or what they do. If you are a guest anywhere, you don't have to change the behavior of your host. Practice being friendly, amiable, well-mannered, and good and nice in every positive sense. Above all, be tolerant. You don't have to make people be like you in order that you like them. No. But you can be a good person to everybody. Being good is free, but then it takes an effort. It is a Rome worth building. Practicing tolerance is part of being good and nice to everybody. As such, it is a Rome worth building. It thus takes an effort and self-discipline, focus, determination, and persistence. In other words, you practice tolerance consciously with determination and persistently. So being tolerant or practicing tolerance is part of having a positive attitude. A person cannot claim to be having a positive attitude and yet it becomes intolerant and snobbish, even if it is occasional or subjectively. A person who has a positive attitude must all the time practice tolerance. We must train ourselves to be tolerant at home, at work, in school, and elsewhere. Tolerance is always important. we live together not as islands, but as people. People in a family or homestead, people in a neighborhood or in a community or village, people in a region, people in a city or country, people working in an office, or people working for the same organization, or people interacting together as members of an organization or many organizations, or people interacting together internationally, either face-to-face or through electronic conferencing or on social media. There's always need in all such situations for tolerance. So if you're a man, when you see a woman, don't say, well, that's a woman. No, that's a person. The first thing when you see anybody, that's a person. A person who has dignity and rights. A person who is equal to you in every respect before the law and before God. So when you see a person, extend a hand of peace and friendship. Be tolerant. If you are a woman, when you see a man, don't say, well, that's a man and I treat him as a man because men are like this or that. No. When you see a man, that's a person with dignity and rights, a fellow human being. So extend a hand of peace and friendship to such a one. Also practice tolerance. When you see a child you don't know, don't say, oh, well, that is a suspicious character. No, the child you see is a human being. Be tolerant. Extend a hand of peace and friendship to such a one. When you are traveling in a bus or matatu or aircraft, or when you are walking along the street, or when you are doing shopping, when you meet people, well, those are fellow human beings. Don't categorize them in the way they look. Don't say, these are blacks, these are whites, these are Kikuyus, these are Luos, these are Igbos. No, they are all human beings. Those are fellow human beings. They deserve dignity. They deserve to be treated with respect and honor. You don't have to agree to the way they behave or to their attitude to treat them with honor and dignity. No, even if they display some elements of hostility, toxicity, or negativity, that doesn't have to be a deterrent to you to be nice to them. Remember, you are a person who has control over what you do. So even if they are hostile, toxic, and cruel in the way they talk, or in their verbal or non-verbal behavior or utterances, well, you must decide to resort to tolerance and understanding. You must decide to resort to maturity, sobriety, and wisdom. That way, you will be nice to such a person in a tangible way. That's the way you can make the world a better place. Remember this, always at home, at work, in school, and elsewhere, resort to tolerance. Every time, wherever you are, whether at home or at work or elsewhere, resort to true wisdom as profusely and as bountifully as possible. Always remember this. Be decent and sober in whatever you do. Be nice to everybody. Don't label people. Don't put tags on people and you say, well, I'll discriminate against this one and not this one. If you behave like that, well, then you have no basis to claim that you have a positive attitude. If you discriminate against anyone just because on the label you or other people put on them, then you have no basis to claim that you have a positive attitude. Well, you must always resort to wisdom, understanding, and maturity every time. That way, you will be able to build bridges of peace and friendship with everybody. That way, you build bonds of friendship with every Tom, Dicky, and Harry of humanity. That way, you'll be making society and the world just a little better every single day. Let us come to our summary for today. Remember this always. Wherever you are, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, whether it is in school, or outside in the community, or in public, or online, remember this always. You must be safe all the time and always. That way, you'll be always alive and well to ensure the safety of others as well. So when you ensure your own safety 24/7 and always, you must also ensure the safety of others as well. Secondly, remember this always. You must have peace, and you must make sure you have peace 24/7 and always. That way, you also ensure that others around you will have peace 24/7, always, indefinitely. Remember this. Always practice tolerance. Remember this. Always resort to true wisdom as bountifully and as profusely as possible. Remember, this is not a game of poker. This is not a childish game. It is a Rome worth building. And as such, it takes an effort, determination, and persistence. Always be nice to people, to everybody. Never put labels on anyone. Practice tolerance, for peace is all that matters.